Alright, we're going to do a workshop tonight with Zaytiggy, and I'm probably going to call it a night after that, but it should be fun. So we'll see how it goes. Hey. Alright, hope everyone's doing well. Just as a reminder, I'm going to do a workshop with Zaytiggy. So let's see how that goes. Alright. Okay. Okay, cool. Hey, is that you, Zaytiggy? Hey, how you doing, man? Okay, awesome. No problem. Okay, so, let's see. Did you want to do this in a room, or do you want me to just go through the training mode and discuss, or how would you like this? If you're watching my screen, then the tricky part is going to be that if you're watching it from the live stream, then there's going to be a delay. But you can also do PlayStation Network where you like watch me, and I approve of that. Then what happens is then you can watch me in training mode while we talk about stuff. So either way works if you'd like to do for this workshop. So. Okay, let's do a room. I'll create a room and invite you then. I'm going to turn the volume up a little bit. Okay. So, if anybody has trouble hearing me, please let me know. Alright, so I'll do a private slot. Let's see. And what would you like to work on today? Happy to talk about any topic. Okay, so dealing with 2P? Sure thing. Yeah, so go ahead. I've just set up the room. I think I sent you the invite. Now, when he was doing 2P, what do you think was happening in those situations? I know that's hard to remember. Was he interrupting your strings? Was he mixing up the mid and throw against you? Okay. Backdash is going to be a tough one. However, actually there's a pretty good answer in general, and I'll show it to you. So, you know how to do fuzzy guard already? Have you been practicing that? Okay, show me the example of doing it from elbow. Doing from 6P, forward and punching, yeah. So that's a guard throw escape, right? Okay, there you go. Okay. Gotcha. Okay, so I'm going to teach you the general responses to 2P then. Okay. The first test is elbow right away. So basically, you go ahead and mash 2P. That's the normal answer. Now, if you're feeling lag and you have trouble doing this, and it's very hard to do, just go switch it to low punch. So go ahead and do mash low punches again. Right? So that would be like a very easy answer. And if they evade that low punch, you're not in much risk. Right? So the standard answer is elbow. The reason the standard answer is elbow is because like I'm gonna mash 2P, you try to elbow, okay? As soon as you block one. You'll get used to buffering it. Okay, so I think you're not buffering. Do you remember what I talked about buffering? Do you remember what buffering is in Virtua Fighter? Okay. Buffering means even before you recover. So the moment that my low punch touches your knee, so when you're blocking, right? The moment that my low punch touches your knee, you gotta hit forward and punch right away. Okay? Like, you don't even wait to recover. Do not wait to recover. Do it before you recover. For example, you mash low punch. I'm hitting this even before my character recovers. I'm hitting forward and punch. That's what we call buffering in Virtua Fighter. Buffering, okay, so here's the thing. Unlike most fighting games have an input buffer when you recover and you input something and it lets you do it, but they don't have it as much as VF does. In most fighting games, you have to wait until your character recovers and then perfectly time when you punch. You're trying to do that, but in VF, you don't have to do that. The reason 50-year-olds can play VF at a high level is because they are doing the frame-tight response, and they're doing it because the game lets them input it early. So, what does that mean? It means, do you see, like, let's say you block right. See my jab? Now watch from when my jab, or you jab. I'm going to block, you do a single jab. Okay. You see the time it takes from when you hit the button to when it actually touches me, right? That's about 12 frames. That's how much time the game lets you input the move while you're stuck, while you're stunned, while you're in recovery. You have that much time before you recover to push the next move, and it will do it as soon as your character recovers. There's no waiting necessary. So, in this case, I'm going to mash low punch. This is going to put me at -5. You're going to block it and then do a low punch right away back to me, but try to push the low punch. Try to push the low punch the moment you see it touch your knee, or even a little before that. And you might be surprised that your character is going to have a perfect response. See? And from that, now you can do an uppercut. So now you can do that into the elbow. So you low punch, block it. We're going to master this, okay? So you want to do, like, first you hit me with a low punch and then do a mid. And after this, I'm going to change my character to El Blaze so I can give you answers for yourself. Perfect. Just like that. Do that. You're going to get used to it. You're going to get used to it. This is a weird thing about VF. So here's what we know about you. You do have good timing. So this is a little harder for you to get used to doing this, because in other games this might be sloppy because your character might not do the thing because you input too early, but in VF you're allowed to. So I'm friends with Lord BBH. Lord BBH is one of the best, like, retro gamers in the country. He is like the master of so many arcade games. He memorizes all the routes in action games, and his timing is like almost flawless, right? So he plays VF with me, and he wonders why I keep out-hitting him. And I out-hit him because, like, for example, when you do that low punch, when you do that low punch at me, right? As soon as I see it getting blocked, if I'm prepared to do it, I'll do an elbow, like, right away. And it's because I'm inputting the elbow even before Leon has recovered. Leon is still stuck in block stun when I'm hitting it. And then, but the thing is the game lets me do that because the game will the game will do like as soon as Leon recovers, because I inputted that elbow, the game will let me do it right away. Does that make sense? Yep. So this is your standard response that you want to master when you're playing on this, right? If you can, like, this, like, response, like, every time you block a low punch, do an elbow is a very strong response. It's not the only response, but when you get good at doing that, you get good at other things too. So the reason that I come in everybody's faces and I respond to what they're doing, it's pretty scary, because this game lets you input everything early. So again, I'm going to do this exercise. You're going to block it and you're going to interrupt that low punch. See, right now you're trying to time it, or you're doing it a little late. Try pushing the low punch early. In fact, try to anticipate that you're going to block it and input the response. And we can start with low punch, and once you master low punch, then you work on elbows. Yeah. So Jimmy, the thing is that we can say speed is the game, but what it is that Virtua Fighter lets us play this almost like an RPG, because it lets us input the next move early. And players coming from other fighting games are not used to that. Zaytiggy has amazing timing. He is actually a very fast player. But he's playing it like Tekken, which gives you like maybe half the time to input the next move, before you recover. So I'm going to change my character to El Blaze, because we're going to have fun with this. And this is going to be weird for a while, and I get that. But when you get used to it, I think you're going to love it. I think you're going to love what VF lets you do with this, and you'll still be able to play the other fighting games. But I understand, like, it's really weird doing this at first. So I hope you don't mind me taking the loud tone, but it's I hope it helps, So yeah. Pi. Well, Pi is a scary one, Jimmy. Pi is scary because with Pi, she gives you... Some of her moves have like less stun, and that means like you don't have that 12 frames. We want to get him used to that there's 12 frames first, because we want him to understand that why his opponents seem to be like godlike in their responses, right? So I'm going to mash low punch, and you're going to practice low punching back and then elbow right away. Or actually, what is this? Like, you mash low punch. I'm going to test this out. Yep. Right? Just mash low punch, because I'm going to test something out. See how strong that was, right? I low punched you, interrupted you, and then I was able to do that uppercut, right? And even though you mashed low punch, it lost, right? Because, there you go, it's a good block, yeah. Notice how I'm not committing after that elbow. Right? So what I'm doing is I'm using that frame advantage, but I'm inputting early. I'm inputting when I see it. When I see it connect, before I've recovered. So after you hit me, there's a stun. Meaning my character is like recovering. He's not instant, right? It's not instant, but I'm inputting right away when I see it. I hope I don't scare you with what I'm going to tell you next. And that's going to be... In most games, you're used to hit confirming, like you're used to seeing the hit and then doing the action after that, right? And that's a good thing. You still want to do that. But in Virtua Fighter, I actually am watching my opponent when my low punch comes out. I'm watching my opponent when my elbow comes out, and I'm not saying I'm really fast, but I'm saying that I'm stretching my window of confirmation to include to where I'm making a judgment call before it even hits. And I'm like, this is gonna work, because if I see my opponent, if I'm doing like this elbow, right, and I see during that time of that elbow, this is actually a lot of time. Attacks in Virtua Fighter are really slow, right? They're slower than Tekken. They're definitely slower than 2D fighting games, right? But in that time that my character is doing that 6P, we'll call that an elbow, even though it's not an elbow, okay? Because usually it is. An elbow. But in the time that elbow's happening, I'm watching my opponent. And if I see them do an attack, like late after me, what is that going to mean, right? Can you tell me what that means? If they attack, but they attacked after me, and I'm doing one of my fastest moves, what's going to be the result? It's going to be a counter hit, right? So that tells me, oh, I've got a counter hit, so I can go ahead and input the next move. Or I can wait for the counter hit and still input the next move. But I'm just saying I've stretched my confirmation window. I'm looking a little before the hit to make a judgment. Just like, if somebody does a sweep, right, like this, like let's say they whiff, right? You can dash in and elbow me, right? Yeah, right? That's like guaranteed. So that's the same idea is that my opponent is crouching, and sometimes I know I can do this right away because I've seen that they're crouching. So I don't need to wait for the hit to know that it's going to be a crouch hit. So this is what we decided to call this animation checking. I used to call it pre-checking, as in checking before a hit confirm. It's not really a check though. It's a guess. It's like it's a prediction. I predict that this is going to be a counter hit because I see them attacking while, like, when I throw a jab, that's what I'm looking for, right? But actually jabs are a little easier. If you guard, go ahead and guard. If you do jab, like block the jab and try to low punch. The jab is +2 on block, right? So I know that as long as my jab touches you, I can do elbow right away. That's the 1-2 in boxing. So you go ahead and try it. You do punch guard. So you do punch guard, and once it touches, do an elbow right away. 6 feet. Yep. See. Yep. Yep. See, I can't interrupt you with low punch. I can't interrupt you with high punch either. So if that jab touches me, then that elbow works, right? Like this. That's why you see me do this all the time. Like, you'll see me doing like this, right? And you'll see people run into that elbow. Huh? So right now I'm doing evade, and then I cancel it with a crouch dash. And this is a cool technique where these are failed evades. You can actually turn it into a disadvantage by just throwing a jab. So evade in the crouch dash, so up, and then down forward, down forward. Yeah, like that, right? Now the thing is teaching you this right now is it can make you weak actually for a while. But what I can do is go ahead and stand, now try doing it. I can throw jabs to force you to do a full evade, to do a successful evade. But because the jab is such a fast move, you might actually be at a disadvantage because of that. But the crouch dash does not interrupt the regular evade. It interrupts the failed evade, and that's beyond today's topic. Right now, we're talking about dealing with low punch. So the standard response is to block and do an elbow. That's what you want to master. It may take you a month or two. It may take you a week. Each player is different on this, but you do want to master doing an elbow. But online elbow can be rough, so if you can't do the elbow, do the low punch. But honestly, the elbow should work. It's just more about if you're primed and ready to see it, but it's hard. Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and fight, and we'll deal with it. So if they sidestep, do you know what the universal answer for sidestep happens to be? Throw. Throw will beat sidestep, flat out. So if somebody starts, you just start doing a throw there, but the way to set it up is block my low punch. So I'm going to do this. So, yeah, now try to attack. Try to attack after blocking my elbow, right? Okay, now we've established I'm sidestepping after blocked elbow, right? That's a read, right? The read is my opponent likes to sidestep. Make sure that you got the read before you do this. So now, when you block my low punch, do like a crouch dash into throw. Or do like a half circle throw, okay? Yeah. Actually, because I evade, you can instantly throw. Yeah. So now I'm going to mess around. Now, I do have an answer for it, which is the fuzzy guard that I told you about. Low punch can go into fuzzy guard, right? There is a read you can do here. Now, I'm just going to give you a shortcut answer. If your opponent is doing this to you, then your answer actually for fuzzy guard, you have a scary one, do a low throw. Do you remember the low throw?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to do a trick for you to train you on this. I'm going to do this, then this. After the elbows, when you're going to do your either your low throw or your or throw. Okay. Yep. See how you got that? And that's because I'm crouching into it, right? But now try high throw. Right? So I'm training you on this pattern. But now you've seen the fuzzy guard, so now you're like, this is going to be the most common time somebody will do a fuzzy guard against you is after the elbow. And I'm going to mix up whether I do perfect. Try to do a different one though, like do a more damaging low throws, okay? There you go. See? Now you've punished that. Okay. Now let's go to somebody evading. I'm gonna mix it up, but good, you did the high throw. That's the answer to somebody evading after the elbow's blocked, right? Very good. Let's go back to, we're gonna mix these up. I'm gonna do jab elbows and I'm gonna do low punches, okay? This is a fuzzy guard. That's our answer, fuzzy guard. Good. Now try to attack me back so you can see. So here's the good thing. It's harder to appreciate this point. Because you're not buffering, evade actually loses a bit to you because you're accidentally delaying attack. So I'll do this and do an attack right away. And if you do attack right away, the evade works, and that's like you should attack right away. You should do like an elbow or a sweep or whatever right away. You should do it before you recover, okay? Before your character recovers. And so that's where we're going to get into you understanding why fuzzy guard is important, why throwing right away is important. Evading is bad against you when you don't do it right away, but in general in VF you should do it right away. It's weird until you understand the buffering. But the buffering is really important because you get the most frame advantage. You use the most frame advantage when you buffer. If you don't buffer, you're delaying on accident, and that's fine, but you might get counter hit before you know it. Because I might start doing stuff like this and getting free hits because of the delay, right? But now it's working, so now I'm going to switch to evading, right? So if you see evading, what's the answer? Yeah, throw. Now the other thing, if I'm predictably low punching, there's two approaches. First approach, crush. Yeah, exactly. First approach is to crush. Second approach is to block and do an elbow. So let's master that. Perfect. Yes. Okay, so here's the cool thing about elbow. When you hit me with that elbow and you counter hit me, let me look at Blaze's frame data. So L-Blaze, when L-Blaze counter hits with his elbow, he gets a +7 if the opponent's crouching 6 frames, right? I think you can do 4P plus K. So like, if you elbow me, you can mix up between 4P plus K, or you can throw, okay? So I'm gonna do this, you're gonna elbow, and the moment you elbow, and you know it's a crouch hit, and you know it's a counter hit, go ahead and do 4P plus K after you hit with the elbow. Yep, there you go. That's what you do against the masher, right? Perfect. Now, how do we deal with a string masher? How we deal with the string masher is you low punch the string masher and do a counter hit launch after that. Yep. So that's one way. Try to interrupt the string, and then, so instead of waiting for a string, try to just interrupt the string with a low punch. Yep, and then do your launcher. Yep. There you go. You'll get used to it in time, but you'll also just see it. The more you try to apply it, this is something you can do against the AI, and you should. You should be practicing this against the AI. Like, you should be practicing jab elbow. And here's the thing about the elbow: if that elbow gets a counter hit or crouch, then you do like throw, right? Or mid, like knee. Knee is perfectly fine. Because the counter hit elbow will make the knee work pretty well. So let's go ahead and fight. Actually, just fight me like normal. We'll fight, okay? See, that was a low punch in the throw. Low punch in the throw again. So the answer to throw, there's guard throw escape, but there's also actually launch somebody if you think that they're going to go for the throw. Like, so you can just 6K me out of that. Like, if you think I'm going to go for the throw, you do 6K, you know, as like a reaction. You're like, oh, he's going to throw right now, 6K, right? But then the risk for that is if I go for 6K myself, and that would win, right? And that's where the mind games in VF is. Yeah. So I know this is late night. Okay, let's go back to the low punch training here. So what you do want to do against the AI especially, and you notice if you go to training mode and you set the AI to like level, to the highest level, it every once in a while it starts mashing low punch. That's to train you for people that mash low punch, because mashing low punch is perfectly fine, but there is a good response, and that is you block it, you elbow, or you whiff punish it with elbow. And then after that, because they're crouched, you know that you're +7, so you do a mix up after that. There you go. Perfect. There you go. And then now you got your game. All right, I'm gonna start mixing it up. So I'm gonna be a training dummy for you, okay? That was good. So right now I'm evading you. I know this is hard. I know it's hard. You'll get there. We're making you a monster. So the answer is a high throw. If I evade, after my low punch is blocked, the answer is to do a throw. Do a damaging throw. It's okay. If that's what it is, you'll get used to it. You'll get used to this. This is just a matter of time. So now, so what am I training you on right now? Jab, elbow, and then into fuzzy guard. You can also do a low attack to beat fuzzy guard. Like, but the problem is with low attack is it's the weakest option. You'll get used to this. Yep, that's a good one. Yeah, if you feel like, if you're not confident in using the elbow, go ahead and do the low punch. There you go.
Man, that's hard to like.
I know. That's why I'm giving you this training. I can train you on this every day if you want. I don't mind. It really matters. And I think you're seeing why I win a lot of matches against a lot of people this way, right? But you'll get it. I've seen your skill level. I know you can do it. It's just getting used to it. It's getting used to inputting it early. It's getting used to going like, oh, I can input it now instead of waiting to see my character start moving, right? That's like awkward, and I get that. But I really know you're going to get this, and I know it's going to make you more scary as you get used to this. So I don't mind doing this drill with you like a lot. So, but you can do this against AI. I mean, I do it against AI too. Nice. So I'm going to give you the second. Okay, what's your biggest throw? What's your biggest throw? Show me the biggest throw with that blaze. Okay. All right. Okay, cool. So, given that we're assuming that's the biggest throw, because I sadly don't know, can you do a crouch dash into that throw? Crouch dash is down, forward, down, forward. Okay. Okay, practice doing a crouch dash into that throw. Yeah. Now do it really fast. That works fine. We can count that too. Okay. So that's what we call a delay throw, is doing a crouch dash before a throw. Okay. And that's good because let's say block all this. So you're gonna block this, and I'm gonna fuzzy guard. So now after you block the elbow, dash into, do a crouch dash into the throw. That will beat fuzzy guard. Because the whole idea of fuzzy guard is I'm going to duck the throw and I'm going to block the mid. That's what fuzzy guard is. Perfect. That was perfect. 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 We're going to finish the round with that. Because you got to train yourself for this. But more importantly, now we're going to have to train you on the fuzzy guard, okay? So this next one, I want you to practice the fuzzy guard. And on top of that, if you see yourself ducking the throw, I want you to try to just like hit me with a punch right away. But but only stand and block if you see the attack. This is really hard. I'm overloading you a little. But I want you to practice doing the fuzzy guard. So you do just the elbow, or if you want, do jab elbow, and then well, we can start with elbow, whichever you want, jab elbow or elbow. Just let me know which one you want to do. Okay. All right. It's good that you got guard throws, Gabe. But right now we want to practice fuzzy guard, so you want to crouch dash after that elbow's blocked. No, oh, so you got to guard cancel. You have to do, when you hit punch, you got to do punch guard. Okay. Okay, show me 5 punches in a row. Show me 5 jabs in a row. Yeah. Are you playing on pad?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I know it's awkward on pad. I'm going to tell you what my... You don't have to do my bindings, but I'm going to tell you how I bind on pad, and it's going to sound crazy, but it's because, as you know, I play this game on arcade stick, and so I play it as a 3-button game. I don't use macros. And how I do that is on pad, square or X is guard, R1 is punch, and R2 is kick. And even though triggers suck, it's still fine. But that's actually how I play the game on pad. And that makes it easy to do this, right? Because I'm just hitting R1 and then square, R1 then square, R1 then square, then kick. And because I'm using 3 different fingers per button, right? I'm using 1 finger on a button. That's why I don't need macros in this game, right? You use macros when you're trying to do all kinds of stuff all over and you don't, you know, like it's inconvenient to move all over the pad. That's why I bind. And it's also because by playing that way on pad, it plays just like arcade stick for me, or close to it. So, but you're going to have to get used to doing punch guard, punch guard, punch guard. Later, I'm going to tell you hold forward, pre-hold forward, and do punch guard. And your jab is the same frame data, but you step forward. But you move forward more. So it's better for combos. Yeah. Notice that. Watch, stand back. See how right now I'm lined up with the edge of that circle? This is punch guard. Here's punch guard. That's holding forward. It's a lot more. See? And it's the same frame data. But then here's the normal one. Right? Normal one is just that. Yeah, it's a big difference, right? So actually, I'm almost always holding forward and doing punch guard myself. You don't have to. I know it's cumbersome, but eventually you're going to want to for combos. So yeah. So, all right. So now let's have you practice fuzzy guard. Yep, perfect. All right, practice fuzzy guard. So right now you're doing the crouch dash too late. There you go. Perfect. Now you can do PK after. Yeah. If you're fast enough, you can do PK. You can do punch and then kick if you duck the throw. Oh crap, ring out. Like here, I'll show it to you, okay? I'll just show it to you so you can have a visual. So this time you block, and after you see the elbow, do a throw or an elbow. Hey, yeah, Kara, Niring Abel. We're just doing some workshops right now. Zaytiggy is a very skilled, talented player who's just learning Virtua Fighter, but I'm showing him the intermediate level stuff that becomes super important to do later, and will change the way the game plays for him after he masters these. They're simple skills. They're like learning Kara Cancel and Street Fighter. Not as hard as Korean backdash in Tekken, but they're very important skills. This is okay. Fuzzy guard is technically the wave dash of Virtua Fighter. So, right? That was my bad. Good call. That might have been a delayed throw. That's okay. Right, you can't. It's guaranteed. And the scary thing is, let's try this. Okay, I'm gonna try it right now. You go for the throw option, okay? Whoops, that was my bad. That wasn't you. I want to test something out without Blaze, so I'm gonna push you to the wall, and then we're gonna do this. Nope. Okay, hold on. I guess that won't work. That's okay. With El Blaze, we'll have to use something else, but some characters, their standing kick will do a wall splat. So, on recovery hit. Because this counts as recovery hit when I punish your, right? When I punish your throw whiff, this is guaranteed, right? So if you get good at that, it's pretty good. And there's more. There's a way to do this automatically too. I'm not doing that. I'm doing this manually. It's better to do it manually, but there is an automatic way to do it. And so remember how I told you, like, sometimes, like, let's say you're doing, like, your high strings, right? And then you can low punch this, right? Right. So now, go ahead and low punch this. I can fuzzy guard. If you low punch, technically, at the higher level, like, go ahead, yeah. I can fuzzy guard. Technically, you can train yourself to do this like that. Is that scary? Like, that's a fuzzy guard. Like, that's, like, if they actually tried to mid or throw you, I would block or duck the throw. So, when you did the low punch interrupt, right? It wasn't a counter hit; it's a recovery hit. So the frame data for the low punch is like -4, right? Or +4 for you, -4 for me because you hit me with it. This fuzzy guard works at -5 and -4, the crouch dash, right? So if I do this and you interrupt, I can do this. Yeah, so right now, it's one of those things where if I anticipate somebody low punching, interrupting me, or not interrupting, but recovery hitting me with the low punch, I can do a fuzzy guard. Right, like this. It's really hard to do, but it's fun. It's really hard to do that. I botched up the input, but trust me, it works. Like, I'm gonna guarantee you that it works. Sorry. I don't have the help. But anyhow, if you, like, technically it's a very important, it's a good skill to have, especially as Blaze, because you have strings that people want to low punch. But that said, again, the low punch, not as much damage, but you have to convert from it, so you have to kind of use it to kind of just stay on the deep. Just know that it's a way to trap some people, and especially if they like. If the main person to trap with that is somebody that does low punch throw. If they do low punch launcher, you're not going to get much. But if they do low punch throw, like, you can do some nasty stuff to them. You can punish them for doing low punch throw. And again, that's higher level stuff. I'm not trying to overload you. I just want to show you that it exists. It's not something we do all the time, but it is something that Japanese players do all the time. So, go ahead and practice fuzzy guard. Wrong move. Yep. You're doing perfect. There you go. Alright. Really good with the fuzzy guards. Now, practice beating... Let's just fight, but if I start mashing low punches, just know that I'm training you. Nice. Very nice. Very good. Now you're using your advantage. Good job. Yeah. We'll get to from crouch 6P plus K. All right. How are you feeling? Are you okay?
Thank you so much, man.
Is this making sense to you though, or?
Honestly, it is. Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna give you the lecture on low punch though. Low punch is a setup move. It's so good that even if low punch was 0 damage, it would still be very good. And the reason it's good is, again, how do we use low... Okay, test number 1. How do we use low punch against somebody that's mashing? Right, but we don't just interrupt. What do we do with the advantage? So you got to do this into a launcher. Yeah. That's what you do against a beginner that's mashing. Right? So now how do we deal with somebody... So how do we deal with somebody doing this, doing that? Right? So what am I doing, right? Good. That's the right answer. And, okay, here's the thing. Even if somebody escapes your throw, don't feel bad. It means you successfully threw them, they just happened to guess the escape, okay? You still chose the right answer. Throwing was still the right answer if the throw was successful, if the throw happened to reach. You want to assault people's decision for guarding. So, yeah. Exactly. So now, but we're fighting the masher again, so what do we do? Exactly. Use your frame advantage and kill them with attacks. But now once they start defending, what do you do? So I'm going to mix it up and I'm going to be linear about it. So I'm going to be very predictable. Good. Very good. We're going to do this for about 3 more games. Because it'll, you know, it's not training mode. If it was training mode, we could do it in slightly less time. But we're gonna do this over the course of 3 games because I'm gonna drill this into you about how this works.
Should we switch to training, or that's easier?
It works if we're doing like the whole watching on the other person, like 2 players playing on one PS4. But online, it's kind of weird. So, but yeah, so same drill. Very good. You guessed the throw. Hey, Diesel, good to see you. Nice. Very good. Circular is an answer too. Alright, let's fight normally. So right now, I'm doing what I do for Tekken players, okay? This is how I train Tekken players in VF. I am using just jab, elbow. I'm going to start just using jab, elbow, and throw. Good. And you can do whatever you want. It's really scary how much can be done with jab and elbow and throw though, right? But this is how you understand how 2P works. And you also understand how jab works, right? Do you see the way I'm using jabs, elbows, and throws? And by jab, I mean high jab and low jab both. So. Yeah, so, okay. So what it means is but the thing is the jab, now we'll play normal because this will make more sense. Because the thing is that the 2P itself is not what's killing you. It's the thing that comes after the 2P. So like somebody will low punch you, and then if generally you want to defend. Generally you want to guard, throw, escape there. But then if they're choosing correctly, now you have to kind of counter their choice, and that's where the paper rock scissors comes in. Where if they throw, you can do the throw escape, but also if you know they're going to throw you, if somebody's doing this and throw, then you can kind of attack back because attack always beats throw. Unless they're at -10, attack will always beat throw. And then, so what I did was I sidestep there too. So sidestep. Do you know how the sidestep works in this game? Okay. Okay. First of all, tell me if I jab you and then I sidestep, what will happen with the sidestep? Assume that the jab connects with you. Okay. So I'll explain then. Jab is +2, right? Here's the problem. There's the first rule of sidestep is that the opponent has to already be attacking for the sidestep to be a good one. So if I'm at advantage, that's impossible if you buffered. Okay? But if I'm at a disadvantage, there's a higher chance. So now, after you block my elbow, you attack me, right? My sidestep's going to work. Because I'm at -5, so as long as you're attacking me in within those first 5 frames, that sidestep's going to work because you're in the middle of an attack. Okay, but it won't work if I do this. This is what we call. Okay, I'm not going to cancel the evade. This is what we call failed evade, right? And you're going to hit me because. So go ahead and strike me back. This will never work. Unless you're late. Attack me right away. This should never work if you attack right away. Because I'm at advantage, it's impossible for you, if I'm buffering the evade, it's impossible for you to already be in an attack because for 2 frames, you're still stuck. So in Tekken encourages you to kind of hit them and sidestep. VF, that's bad. In VF, it's like I whiff, then like let's say I whiff, then attack me after I whiff, okay? So, right? Because I'm at a disadvantage. But it's because you're slow. Okay, the reason you're hitting me is because you're doing it after I evade. But if you attack faster, then we'll do like this. So attack, like try, yeah. And this is more guaranteed, right? This is because there are 3 rules for sidestepping in Virtua Fighter. For successful, what we call successful evade. The first rule is the opponent has to be in an attack. If they're in neutral, it's a bad sidestep. If you're in advantage, it's a bad sidestep. If the opponent's already attacking, then the sidestep can be successful. The second rule is just that it has to be evadable, so it can't be like a full circular attack. And then the third rule is that it has to be evaded in the correct direction if it's a half circular attack. So sidestepping in this game is kind of like paris. And have you played Third Strike? Okay, that's okay. That's okay. Then I can't use that analogy. So basically, like tap, do a low punch. Okay, after that low punch is blocked, I want you to tap up and neutral. Yep. No, that's a successful evade. See how you're successfully evading?
Is the guard necessary?
No, the guard's not necessary, but I'm showing you how sidesteps work. Okay? Now, if you hit me, try to sidestep. Like, hit me, do the same thing, except this time you're going to hit me. So why is it not working? Right? So the question is, what's working about? This is because right now you're doing what we call a failed evade. Why is it failed? Because I'm not in the attack when you did the evade. Right? So this is why you can't just jab somebody and evade. Unless your intention... So when I do this, this is not me trying to evade you. This is me creating a delay. This is me messing with timing. But it's not actually trying to evade you. Okay? But now if I do this, and you block it, and you attack back, then the evade works, right? So the answer now is to throw me if this is happening. Okay, so I know this takes a bit to get used to. This sounds counterintuitive, but it is a cool system in the game. So again, so if you hit me with the low punch, should you evade? Yeah, but now you're at an advantage. Should you evade? The answer is no. But I block your low punch. Is evade a decent option if I block your low punch? The answer is yes. It's an okay option. Yeah, so when you fail something, that's when it's a good idea to do a defensive technique. And when you succeed at something, that's a good idea to attack. An attack includes throw, okay? So if you succeed, usually you can keep doing offense. If you fail, you should definitely, like almost for sure, defense is a really good option. Unless, but then you can crush and you can do other stuff. But in general, consider crushing as a defensive option. So the general rule of thumb when you play VF is, if you succeed, stay on offense. If you fail, like if I whiff, right, then if I try to attack, you might hit me if you're fast, right? But, yeah, right, because I failed. I'm at a disadvantage, right? But if I succeed this, and so now in Virtua Fighter evading, technically the game calls them defensive move. Defensive move is meant to be used when you're on defense, unless you're using it for other reasons like delaying, but that's beyond the scope of today. So sidesteps are intentionally a thing that you're supposed to do when you're on defense, and that means that your opponent has the advantage. Yeah. So I know this is really confusing, but you will get it, and it will make more sense. And the more you play, you can keep practicing AI to understand it. But it's like, oh darn, like if you got like this, if you got like, yeah, elbow blocked, or like you got hit. So if I hit you, now let's practice that. So I'm gonna hit you. If I hit you, then you can evade, right? Right. And in this case, because you can probably low punch me right away after the evade. Yep, see? And so I was actually at a disadvantage because you successfully evaded me. Now, that's not all, evade's a little trickier than that, but that's kind of the gist, is that when you're on defense, after you whiffed, after you got blocked, after you got hit, then that's when you're usually on defense. That's a good time. That's when evading is a good option. It's not the only option. It's a good option though. And so getting used to that's a little different in VF, right? Yeah, FS is capped at 60 hertz. If you remove that cap, the game plays in a funny way. But yeah, I think Xbox scales the game when you try to up the frame rate. Anyways, let's see. How do you feel about? Do you have any questions? I've been preaching and talking. If you're confused, it's totally okay. I went through a lot of material, but go ahead and just let me know if there's something you'd like to know now, or if you want to rest and talk about it tomorrow. We're cool. I am trying to help you as best, so I hope you don't mind. You know, I hope it's okay.
This is all good stuff, man. And I can just make it all click one day.
It's going to. It will. And but do you know why? So the jab, elbow, this one, the reason this works is because this is one of this move, punch guard. One of the very few moves in your character's move list that's like plus when they block it. Meaning you have advantage when they block it, so that's why this works. Technically, this doesn't work on 4 characters, but the truth is you should do it anyways, and they should prove to you that they know that. Because if they know that, you have other cool options. Like later on, you'll realize you have other cool options to do. But again, we'll finish this off with a few things then. Okay. So we'll do a quick review. So number 1, show me the standard response to a mashing low punch. Yep, that's a good one. That's the best one. And that one, when you know that's gonna hit, you can like do the kick follow-up into like you can do, so if you let go ahead and I'm gonna hit you with this, you can end up doing this. So as you know, yeah, then you can do, once that's happened, then you've got his other okizeme. Okay, let's go ahead and finish this round with this option, yeah. Good. Very good. When you practice against the AI in training mode in the dojo, it actually does do this low punch mash where it can do it like 5 times in a row. It's training you for this.
Yeah, I noticed it does it when
It's because this is the most... When a Japanese player plays a new player they don't know, one of the first things they test is if you can actually block and elbow this. So now go for the elbow this time. And you can go into knee if you hit me. Yeah. So if you believe that your elbow is going to go into that knee, go ahead and do it, because it's guaranteed. The elbow kick is guaranteed, and knee is a good option too. But there you go. Okay. Now that said, I don't want to train a bad habit, so just generally the elbow itself is good, into a throw, into a mid. So like doing like this, do the elbow, but this time guard cancel it, and then do a throw or mid. And in this case, because I'm mashing low punch, do a mid. Yeah. Like this is really important. Like, and at some point you want to, it's gonna take time, but you want to get to the point where you can kind of do this like lightning quick when you realize your opponent likes to mash low punch. It's true that even at high level play, even against Japanese players, mashing low punches will sometimes work. Like 2 hits is not unusual to see, because it does require some focus, right? Doing this requires some focus, and learning it requires more focus. But even at a high level, doing this, so a lot of times we're used to single move, single move, single move. Somebody starts mashing low punch, and we lose to it for a little bit. That happens, even at the high level, right? Okay, so we got that. What is, okay. So now, I'm doing this. Good. So make sure you've got your response built. Good, that's the correct answer. Good, that's the correct answer. So that's now we've covered generally the low punch thing. What's the correct answer for this? Yeah. Yep, get advantage, make sure you use it with a mid or something, yeah. Yep, okay. We'll keep on going. What's the next answer after this? Good. Very good. There you go. You got it. You did a really good job. You did the low throw. So it's taking a while, but you're doing superb. I don't teach people the low throw thing usually until way later. But right now I was just like, I'll just show it to you, but just so you know it's there. Okay.
Real good stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to give you one final game here, and what I'm going to tell you is basically, so now in the live match situation, of course they're not doing that. But what they are doing is something like low punch, they hit you with it, they might do mid or throw, right? Now, we're not at the point where we're going to do fuzzy guard yet. That happens after you've mastered the other stuff. But in the long run, you are going to want to fuzzy guard that situation, but it's hard. Because you don't want to willingly get low punched, really. But sometimes you realize that it can set up a win for you. But a lot of times, you're going to have to get used to, remember, jab, elbow, right? This one you have to get used to. Yeah, there you go. If you want me, I can teach you, actually, finally, there is another fuzzy guard. Stay in the middle here. I'm going to do jab into throw, and you block, and I'm going to do jab in the mid, right, like this, right? When you, this is a hard one, do jab into throw. It's really hard to do online. Technically, you can duck it. You can do down guard and go back to neutral guard. It's hard to do online, but it's like -2. And so technically, I can avoid the mid throw, right? But if you delay throw, I will lose, right? But, yeah. So let me do it to you, because I'm going to do it fast, but... The problem is... Yep. You're getting used to buffering now. You're going to get used to this, the timing to stand up and block again. How do you like this technique? That's a fuzzy guard at -2. So -2, -3, you can do this. -4, -5, you do crouch dash guard. Crouch dash standing guard.
Say those numbers again.
So -2 and -3 is 2G, 5G. This is -2 and -3. So like, you know how Vanessa does a Superman punch? You could actually do this, like after blocking it. So like this. Show me fuzzy guards empty. Do this. Okay. This is good forward movement. This is your wave dash. This is actually relatively safe except against Denkai. So one player in the country that's going to mess you up for doing this. But in most situations, this is okay to do a neutral. You can do back, 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 down, back, back. So back, back, sidestep, cancel the failed sidestep into another back dash. But players like me are going to mess with you for that. But this is good. Crouch dash into standing guard, really good. And the thing is doing the crouch dash version just gives you a small chance that you might duck a throw while you're doing this, you know. Eventually in the long run, you start to build the reflexes. You start seeing what the opponent does, and so while you're doing that, you're like, oh, I'm gonna low block this, or I know he's gonna go for a throw, so I'm gonna keep ducking, you know. This game gets very deep. There's so much to learn. So I know I've given you so much, but I hope this has helped. And again, I'm not expecting you to master this in a week. All of this, for most players, takes 6 months. It takes a year for some. For you, I think it's going to be a little faster, but I think it's going to take a lot of work. But I think you're going to love the game a lot more as you get better at this. Especially when you get used to something like that, you know? Right? So, L-Blaze, this move, super dangerous. He's like -18. So pick a combo. Pick a huge combo to do. We're going to finish this off with block punish. With block punish at the most, so that we understand the risk of what we do. So, I'm going to do elbow kick. Come up with the biggest combo you can do as a punish. There you go. So this another round, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to do this from the side. And I want you to come up with a plan for what to do here. Whoops, my bad. Yep, that's a good one. I think you can do elbow kick. Nope, maybe not. Other direction. Yeah, so that's guaranteed. Do you have another one? Try 4P plus K. That works. You know this move? Yeah. That's back punch and kick. Back punch and kick is actually one of L-Blaze's best moves in the whole game. It's trickier to master, but it's one of his best moves. And it's really good from the mid-range. Because he's weak at mid-range, that move is so good. This move, when you're at elbow to sidekick range, this move, really good. And it sets up stuff like this, right? It sets up stuff like this, right? That's so try press back punch and kick. Yeah, okay. Let's see if that will work here. Sorry. No. I think elbow kick is the answer. That works too. So 6P. Okay, yeah. So here's another thing. So I taught you that this is the most common, elbow is the most common fuzzy guard, right? Right? Second most common is when someone PK punishes you. So let's say do elbow kick. No, 6PK. Yeah, no, the other one. Elbow and elbow kick. Elbow kick is this. Okay, so let's say I'm a weak punisher and I do this to you. You can fuzzy guard with crouch dash standing guard. It takes a while to get used to the timing. So what'll happen is yeah, so I'll just do punch kick, right? So you do PK to me. You do like punch kick to me. And then try to throw me after. Yeah. So when somebody PK punishes you, that's a really common situation also. So that's another fuzzy guard situation. But it's advanced and online can mess you up. Not real, like online I have no trouble, like when I want to do this, it's kind of doable, right? Is that low throw? Okay, so I'm just slow. But yeah, it is tough, but yeah.
You're slow on this.
What's that?
I said if you're slow, then I gotta be like.
Yeah. But anyhow, I think you feel like that's pretty good for tonight. I think like it's a lot to take in. So
I'll keep practicing.
Now, is there anything now, does this thing, I'm trying not to scare you from VF. Is it scary for you, or is it like, do you feel like you don't like it, or?
I'm not scary at all, but it's just
Yeah. It is. So we went through a lot of material. I gave you a lot of intermediate stuff, even though we were talking about a basic question. But I think you understand how to answer the basic question, but it's going to take time to get sharp at it. That's normal. I believe in you because I've seen you persevere through just like playing monsters, playing all skill levels, and seeing like the things you're capable of, and seeing the creativity in your play too. And the reflect, the skills that are shown in your gameplay. So I tend to give you probably too much, but it's for me. I'm just trying to just show it to you. That like, yeah, this is the stuff that's in the game. This is the stuff we're going to be working on for a long time, and it takes time, but it is doable. You can see from me that it's doable online, right? Even though it's harder to do online, offline this is way easier to do, but it's still hard to do offline too. And right now you're learning, which means your focus is being used to learn, and that makes it feel like you might be slow, but you're not. You're very fast. You're picking this up really quickly, So after a lot of rest, it's going to be better. And in the long run, eventually, as you get comfortable with these techniques, then they're going to use up less of your focus. And then you're going to start being able to kind of just use them like you were snapping your finger, you know? It just takes a lot of effort, a lot of time, and a lot of matches. But you've got an awesome group of players that you get to play with that are the same level as you in general. They all have different skills. That's amazing. Like we're trying so hard to make sure that players have peers they can spar with, and yes, they can spar with us too. But we're trying to make sure that the best way to grow is to have, you know, like rivals at the similar level as you, playing that like most of the time, and then playing monsters some of the time, and playing people weaker than you some of the time, and even trying to teach newer people some of the time. Doing all these things together makes you a stronger player and learn the game much faster and in a much more fun way. So that's what I'm wishing for you, and that's why you see me setting up the Chanchai's dojo. This is why you see me really encouraging people to matchmake, and it's also why you'll see me repeat information a lot, is because nobody's going to get it right away. And I'm not expecting you to memorize everything tonight. I know that when we train again, you're going to forget a lot, but you're going to retain some of it. And we'll work on it again, and it'll start to click, and you'll be like, oh, I kind of remember that now. And you'll get better, stronger, faster, you know? So I hope we can keep this up. And I know it's really late, so I'm going to let you sleep. And thank you for reaching out. Thank you for letting me know you'd really like to do this. And you know, I only want to help you. So because I like to bring up more rivals for me, you know. So.
I like some as well. I gotta feel it,
but. Yep. You and Drenched are friends, right? Are you and Drenched, are you both friends, or do you know each other?
Yes.
Yeah, I really like Drench, so I hope he's liking VF. I haven't chatted as much with him lately, so I'm a little worried if he feels being neglected. But I definitely would love to see him loving the game and enjoying it. And I definitely am hoping for even more Lao players in our scene, you know? Lao is a tough one, but I think he's, as he builds the skills, and he's definitely got skills too, but as he builds those skills, I think he's going to love playing Lao. So let him know I haven't forgotten him, and I really do want to, if he wants to workshop, I'm really happy to workshop with him. So. Yep. And you can help me with other fighters too sometime too. And, you know, I'm going to give some time to Street Fighter 6 because that game looks so good. Street Fighter 6 really... I haven't been this excited for a Capcom fighter since Capcom vs. SNK 2. And while I didn't end up playing Capcom vs. SNK 2 that much, I was really impressed with that game. And while I liked Street Fighter 4 when it came out a lot, it felt like the Street Fighter for a new generation, and it was cool. But the Street Fighter 6 really, when I just watch it, I'm like, this looks like really, really good. And as a VF player, even more encouraging because there's a lot of situation stuff going on. And VF, if there's something that I would say VF is good at, it's number one, it's giving you lots of the situation checking. Number two, the relentless pace. Once you realize that, like, you're not on lockdown, you're not locking somebody down for 5 seconds. It's more of like, no, we're doing our action, then you do your action, then I do my action, then you do your action. It's a really relentless fast pace. And so, but I also just love that this game keeps giving me skills to work with. There's a lot of stuff that I'm adding to my gameplay every week, and even if it doesn't look like it, and it just makes it feel fulfilling. I feel like I'm actually learning martial arts when I play Virtua Fighter, and that's why I'm so obsessed with this game. So, but we're putting you on that path because also I think L-Blaze is so much fun to fight. And when I played L-Blaze just 2 weeks ago, I'm like, this character is a lot of fun, but the flow is a bit different, but he's got really cool moves. And especially once you learn how to use back punch and kick, that move actually it helps address one of the weaknesses in Hellblaze not using that move, because now he has a really scary move from range, from like mid range. So yeah, absolutely, Ray. VF for life. Ray Blade has played lots and lots of fighting games, and he's got this huge skill at like understanding like what to do effectively so quickly and to keep being effective. He's a competitor, but he has always played VF whenever the opportunity presents, and I'm like grateful for that, because he was my rival when I decided I want to be very serious about VF about 23 years ago, when I was like, I actually want to travel for this game. I really want to play against the strongest players I can get access to. Ray Blade was my rival to help us, for both of us to grow in the game and get stronger. So, yeah. Ray, I am going to play Street Fighter 6. That is my intention. So, I pre-ordered it. I liked it so much I pre-ordered the freaking collector's edition. Even though you've got like these two $50 statues, that doesn't still make it $250. But it's because you got the art book and the stickers, and I don't know if I use the stickers. But I like what I saw of people playing Street Fighter 6 during the open beta so much, of the competitive Street Fighter 6, that I was like, okay, I'm gonna play Street Fighter 6. Like this game, Street Fighter 6 is worthy. Like it feels so obvious that it's living up to the hype. I just hope it can build a new generation of players to match that hype. I'm hoping that the new generation arrives in that game, because that's going to be a wonderful thing for all fighting games. So yeah, I think it's going to. This one feels really special, but you know, the sad side is that Third Strike feels very special to me too. When I first saw Third Strike, I'm like, this game's so good, and it was like the biggest flop. Like it was like a big flop, right? Ray and I used to have to like, we had to bug people in Seattle to play Third Strike, you know. But of course, I mean, Marvel 2 was the thing, and Ray played Marvel 2. I did not play Marvel 2, but Ray and I like had to kind of drag people to play Third Strike. You know, like Portland had players that played Third Strike, but independent of that, when I saw Third Strike, I'm like, this game is so awesome, right? And so Ray Blade and I did play Third Strike at people's apartments and at the arcade. And I was trying to convince people, and I would talk to Choi Boy, because I know John Che from his roommate, because we played VF together. And John Che was not in the Third Strike. He's like, he really did not like the game, you know. Alpha, he was more Alpha 2, more, you know, every other Street Fighter. But he would play Third Strike. He'd represent USA. It just wasn't his cup of tea, you know. So when Third Strike had a sudden, like, it had two revivals. It had a mini revival at the Midwest Championships in Illinois. Or was it Minnesota? I think Illinois. But Midwest Championships, there were these hype matches of Third Strike, and people started going, this game looks so good. And then, of course, we have Daigo versus Wong, which totally brought like a whole generation 10 years after the game had come out. You know? So, yeah. All right, Zaytiggy, you have a good night. Thank you so much. Yeah. Oh man, yeah, lots of memories, You guys take care. Thank you so much. This has been a lot of fun. Numbers, are you resting tonight, or are you playing? It's okay if you're resting. Okay, you can't. Okay, gotcha. Let me see if someone else is on. Not for that. Okay. We do have GamerB. I think doing it in real life stream though, that's a little different. Majin Obama's watching boxing. Okay. Man, I think right now a lot of people are not playing their fighting games because they're saving their energy for Street Fighter 6. So I've got like, what do I got here? Gamer B is just showing everybody his computer. Majin Obama is watching boxing on TV. Kaze Corp is doing Final Fantasy VII Remake. You know? Maybe I'll go to Via Lorraine because she's a friend from... yeah, Via Lorraine is playing Valorant. Let's do her. She's awesome. She's a really nice girl who's a really good dancer. And I know her from Vainglory. So let's rate her. Alright, everyone have a good one. We're gonna raid Via Lorraine. And she's playing Valorant tonight. Hey Darkspeed, it's good to see you. Thank you so much, Darkspeeds. I really appreciate it. And thanks for all your support always. That's Darkspeeds is Elson Wong from Australia. They are a good voice actor. They are a really fun and very skilled Virtua Fighter player. They have developed skills very fast, probably because they fought Mike a lot. Like, if you fight Mike, like, you have no choice. You're going to build skills even if you don't want to. So, yeah. But thank you so much, Darkspeeds. Thanks for your support. And I'm always happy to fight you. We'll figure... It's going to happen sometime. We'll figure it out. But thanks for your support, too. And thanks for what you do for the community. I would be, but I'm actually gonna rest and check on my wife. And not gonna lie, I'm gonna watch a Korean drama. So but yeah. but I'm gonna watch that Korean drama as a way to get myself into rest mode. Actually, I might go to the gym if I'm feeling up. If I need to go to the gym more often, I might go to the gym. So yeah, I should do that absolutely. So. Everyone have a good one. Thank you so much. We're going to raid now.
I have the pipe system over here is complete doo-doo.
I mean, probably not as bad as I could clip this year.
No, it's really bad.
Chanchai! Hey, baby, how are you? Well, how do you do that? Hey.
Why'd you die?
And through different people.
What? Sound like some issue with anything.
Spike down, B. One enemy remaining. Sana.
No, not the turret.
Here. Last player.
Oh, God. That scared me.
Nothing on me. I got her. Oh, okay. I was telling high jump. I want to go out to what's it called? I want to go out to the island or what's it called, Oregon. It's been too long and I miss the food. I don't miss the traffic, but I miss the food.
The crackheads are the best part.
Oh no, Portland's like completely run over right now. Because they have a bunch of legal methadone clinics.
Oh my gosh. Someone repeat that, please. She just ran away with a panda.
I got eyes here. Another one back here.
One enemy remaining.
I think there's a vandal on
Here we go, eh?
the body.
Nice.
I swear.
Oh, it has it? Okay, that's good.
Let's get these idiots.
Oh shit. Oh fuck.
Excuse me? Excuse me? Ma'am, excuse me?
No. He gave me a
Excuse me?
He gave me the
Excuse me?
Yes.
Excuse me?
Hello.
Excuse me?
Hello.
Please don't use that type of language.
Stay safe.
Come in.
It's past the one.
Past one. What is God's hour? Oh my god.
Spike down.
What
Mid.
is that gecko doing? He just let us die like that.
Gun here.
He has a bucky, so.
Last player standing.
About to be demon hour. Jokes on you, every hour's demon hour.
Should repeat that.
If he was able to get that, I would have died.
Can you do me a favor?
Hello?
Well, you don't have to do anything. I'm just gonna mute you.
What?
What?